There is no possibility of being in higher vibrational frequency without a strong immune system. A healthy mind will only occupy a healthy body, and there are many different methods to achieve this, but food is probably one of the most important ones. In this video, I will talk about the messages from machine elves about human health and nutrition. We will define what food is and isn't. We will talk about how to eat, and I will tell you about a file that I made to help you eat healthier. Every time I have a moment of weakness and I start a diet of low-quality foods, machine elves remind me about the importance of keeping a healthy balance in my life. I was told, you're supposed to take care of yourself and you shouldn't make things worse. You're not supposed to accelerate your body's aging process and deterioration through an unhealthy diet. You're not supposed to auto-destroy for the sake of a few moments of pleasure. Machine elves explained to me that what humans do and create lacks spirituality, and this also applies to our eating habits. Most of us pay very little attention to what we eat and how we eat. We have a tendency of removing from our lives everything that's beautiful and spiritual, and our nutrition is not an exception. Eating should be a sacred moment. It should be a spiritual family ritual dedicated to developing conscious, grateful, and emotional awareness of being in the moment. It should not be a hectic activity of filling up our stomachs with anything in front of our screens or in between hours of stress at work. The entities showed me many times the price we pay for being detached from nature, and this also applies to our relation with natural world as the only source of our nutrition. In fact, in this case, we go a step further. We don't only treat nature as an asset to be exploited and exhausted, but we also reject and fight that which should be sacred to us. Our food production and preparation processes do not differ from everything else we do wrong, and similarly to everything else, we pay a very high price for this misguided approach. We pay for all of this with the quality of our lives and the state of our healthcare system. It is the true image of what we allowed food and pharmaceutical monopolies to do with our health. Machine elves made it clear that pain and suffering in most cases is a reminder of living the wrong life, of being wrong about what you're supposed to be here. Pain equals you being wrong. The society we live in has been conditioned to treat any form of disease not as a red flag, requiring us to change our damaging eating and lifestyle habits, but rather as a random inconvenience that stops us from continuing with the destructive process of nutritious suicide. Machine elves want you to take care of yourself. They said, fix your body. You cannot allow yourself to suffer and struggle like this. It's a vehicle for your mind. Take care of it. Take care of your food and stop eating junk. This message highlights the dysfunctional relationship we have with our bodies. We don't treat them as highly complex, integral vehicle for a higher self, but rather as a pleasure-generating garbage containers that can be filled with anything we desire without ever taking into account the negative consequences of our irresponsible actions. There isn't much in this reality that makes me personally more angry than the level of disrespect and negligence that humans treat their bodies with. But machine elves pointed out that on the other side of the nutritional spectrum, there's another extreme. People who are so anxious and conscious of their eating habits that they do more damage to their health by being stressed about nutrition than what unhealthy foods could ever do to them. And because for a long time I belonged to that group, machine elves dedicated a lot of their communication with me to this issue. Long time ago, I discovered that more than 2/3 of our health is related to how we feel about what we eat, and only 1/3 of our health is about what we eat. It's not you are what you eat. In reality, it is you are what you believe you eat. It means that if you convince yourself that what you eat is unhealthy, your body will react accordingly. If you enjoy what you eat, and if you have a grateful and joyful mindset about your food and life in general, your body will also listen to you. Machine elves recently confirmed it in one of their messages about my eating habits. They said, when thinking about the right food, take into account the emotional peak diagram that we showed you a long time ago. Food is a part of this. If it is something that becomes a nice positive memory, then it's good. It's all about how it makes you feel. It's still about emotions. It's all about vibrational frequency, whether it elevates you or drags you down. Memories are an indicator whether what you do is good or bad when you look back at it. And because I used to be constantly stressed about what is healthy and what can have a damaging effect on me, unconsciously I started developing a very pathological relation with my dietary habits. The entities addressed this by saying, by being self-disciplined and limiting your life pleasures, at the same time you take away the ability to discover and experience life through gratifying sensations. This constant self-limiting makes the emotional side of life dull and boring. And once they gave me that message, for a moment they switched off my nutritional inhibitions and worries, making me realize how much I miss out on when constantly being stressed about what goes into my mouth. They also showed me something else that you could try and re-examine in life yourself. Ask yourself if your diet is not a result of fear and anxiety. Whether your constant obsession with counting calories and reading food labels is not a smokescreen for deeply rooted mental and emotional problems based in fear. I was told your robot-like, by-the-book approach is a result of stress. When you relax, you don't have this need for structure so much. I've always been proud of myself for having a very well-structured view on life, and I consider it to be one of my personality's positive traits, and it never occurred to me that this could be the result of a very painful and stressful relationship with reality. The entities showed me that I feel guilty about many things, and my eating habits are a part of it. They made it clear that in order for me to live a normal life, I need to stop feeling guilty all the time. Eating is an amazing human pleasure that should be enjoyed rather than demonized. It is such a unique feature of the human existence that those who have had contact with machine elves know that they ask for this experience in contact with us. Among other sensations, the entities requested from many of us to let them see what it's like to experience food, and they love this sensation. In my case, it is sugar, and they always ask me to eat crazy amounts of specific type of candy during my trip, switching off any negative consequences of physiological effect of sugar overload on the body. If they, as aliens, enjoy so much the sensation of eating, I think we should do too. After all, it is one of those practically free pleasures available to everyone throughout our lives. And they did mention that we're not supposed to get too crazy about the elements of this reality. There are many aspects of our existence that we're too serious about, and we go too far in our cautious and restrictive approach to life. They gave me a very good advice. They said, live your life. If these were your last moments here, look at what you're spending them on. This is very true, as for most of us, the default state of mind is worry and stress. We let all the amazing gifts of this reality go to waste for the sake of chronic low-frequency mindset. As some of you know, about 10 years ago, I worked on a book about food. I'm planning on publishing it as soon as I'm finished with the 434 Machine Elf Encyclopedia. Although the entities explain to me the general idea of human nutrition, they don't engage with me in discussions about the specifics of the human diet, and there's a reason for it. There are two areas of my life that machine elves think that they don't need to provide any additional help with. One of them is the relationship with my dad, and the other one is my knowledge about health and human nutrition. The reason for this is that I spent an enormous amount of time and energy, and I figured out the best method of dealing with both of these. If you would like to know what I mean regarding the relationship with my father, go to Peter Hedron YouTube channel and look up the video about the sacred contracts of life. When it comes to my knowledge about food, you need to know that I spent many years figuring out what it is that we need to do about nutrition and what it is that we're doing wrong, and I'm going to present to you now just a short overview of what I discovered. Machine elves regularly indicate that there isn't much to talk about when it comes to our food, because what I discovered is the truth about those aspects of our lives, and I hope it will help you understand what it is that we're doing to ourselves. You need to realize that everything you know about human health and nutrition is not true. The mainstream knowledge about what we eat is a mixture of corporate greed, lies, ignorance, and fear, as always. If you want to live a healthy life and enjoy your existence here, you will need to forget everything that the educational system and mainstream media put in your head in the last few decades. Over the years, I went through a number of different types of diets looking for the most optimal one for humans. I always knew that there must be a diet that keeps us healthy and full of energy. After many years of testing, I think I figured it out. Of course, we all have different lifestyles and different body types, but our physiology is based on the same chemical principles, and although some of you might respond differently to different diets, using this one will more than likely provide you with the best results. I know that many of you, for ethical or religious reasons, try being vegetarians or vegans, and while there are some who can live with these diets and stay relatively healthy, there's a huge number of people who cannot do this, and I'm one of them. I tested this extensively, and in my climate, it is impossible for me to maintain optimal health and balance of energy without occasionally consuming animal products. Before you disagree with me, I want to tell you about the biological proof that I found in nature for this theory. Our closest relatives, chimpanzees, have DNA 99% similar to ours. Our human bodies are very likely to be slightly modified chimpanzee bodies. And the chimpanzee diet is exactly what I discovered. It's 90 to 95% plant-based diet and 5 to 10% animal foods. Before I knew about these monkeys having this diet, I actually tested it on myself, and I want to show you the results now. As you know from my previous videos, I have an ectomorphic body type, which means that I'm tall and slim with very little fat tissue in my body. In fact, for me to gain any weight, I can only do it through gaining muscle tissue. I started working out when I was 14, and I was unsuccessfully trying to become bigger for the next 15 years, until one day I tried the 90% raw food diet combined with low repetition, high intensity workouts. If you look at the screen now, you'll see what happened to me. This is my body after half a year of applying this method. It wasn't just about me finally having the body I always wanted. I also became very energetic, I needed less sleep, my depression and mood swings disappeared, and I got rid of all my health problems. This is exactly how monkeys become so strong and big. This is the optimal human diet. The results I achieved were so spectacular that all my family and friends came to me asking me for advice, and I started creating notes for them on how to achieve it, which became the foundation for my book. I'll tell you now about some of my discoveries that I included in the book, and they should help you become healthier and better looking. Keep in mind that my discovery does not apply only to men. It is equally beneficial to women, and I've seen the results many times. We need to start from defining what food really is. Unlike what everyone around you has been conditioning you to believe that food is a method of getting rid of hunger. In reality, food is and should be source of energy, building material for your cells, and a medicine. Look at the supermarket shelves and see which so-called foods qualify to be in those categories. As part of my research, I created for you and everybody else a unique list of superfoods to help you understand what it is that we should be eating. The method I used to create it is very simple. I looked at every known vitamin, micronutrient, and mineral essential to human health, and I found all the natural foods that contain the maximum amounts of those nutrients. Diet based on these foods should allow you to live an energy-filled and disease-free life. The list is available for download, and the link is in the video description. The file is free, and it's a result of years of my work and research. If you feel that it is helpful, I would really appreciate you donating or supporting this channel. I'm not selling my book yet, but by downloading this file, you'll get the most important part of the book for free. These videos are watched by thousands of people, but only a few generous ones are supporting all of this. It would be nice if you could reward my efforts by joining Patreon, Subscribestar, or by donating using PayPal, bank transfer, or cryptocurrencies. All links, as always, are in the video description. Now that you know what is food, let's talk about what is not food. The rule is very simple. Try to avoid everything that man has touched. You need to understand that you don't eat foods that are healthy or optimal for your health. You eat products and their varieties that bring the most profit, have the longest shelf life, are easy to store and ship, and most important of all, are not in conflict with the profits of the pharmaceutical industry. It will become clear once you analyze the list I created for you, as you will hear about some of these foods for the first time in your life, and yet they're essential to your health. In fact, once I started my healthy foods discovery journey, I was told repeatedly by everyone around me that raw foods are actually not healthy for us. You need to realize that most of what we have in our supermarkets today is closer to plastic than food. Processed foods of today are made of an endless number of ingredients and chemicals that have a long list of known side effects and another list of unknown synergistic effects when combined together. Here's a list of things that we consume on a daily basis that have a detrimental effect on our bodies. Starting from the most harmful ones, I need to mention man-made sugar, alcohol, and caffeine. I don't think I need to say anything about alcohol, but sugar and caffeine are the biggest poisons present in our diet. There will be 2 videos I made a few years ago uploaded to Peter Hedron channel about sugar experiments and coffee, so go and subscribe now. The links will be in the upper right corner and in the video description. Next on the list is milk with more health risks than benefits, soy that contributes towards hormonal imbalance, and all Frankenstein foods that come from a lab rather than from nature. I don't understand how anyone can believe that this can be beneficial to humans other than the corrupt corporations that try to profit from it. All grains in general are incredibly problematic for our digestive system. Anything that requires boiling or grinding should be an indicator that it was not meant for human consumption. As I mentioned, if monkeys don't eat it, you shouldn't either. As you have noticed, meat is practically absent from the list you can download, and that's because it is generally not necessary and not healthy to consume in the amounts our society does at the moment. Especially that we eat muscle meats, something most animals don't do. They mainly eat organ meats, and that's what we should also consume. Meat is not only unhealthy, but Machine Elves made it clear that the way we factory farm animals is insane. Watch the video Animals Explained to learn more about it. Then there is the myth of processed vegetable fats that are supposed to be beneficial for us. You can imagine the amount of grains or vegetables one would need to consume to get the amount contained in 1 tablespoon of oil alone. The last but not least are synthetic supplements and vitamins sold in pill form. What you probably don't know is that many of them are made from coal tar and sugar and have very little to do with what happens inside of our bodies. You might be surprised to learn that vitamins are not single compounds that can be put inside a tiny pill. They're rather complex processes that happen inside our cells and can't be isolated. All of this is not only about the type of foods that we eat, but also about how we eat. Food combining habits are as important as what we eat. Humans are the only animals on Earth that mix different types of foods in one meal. Our stomachs cannot produce enzymes that digest carbohydrates mixed with meat, for example. And the indigestible food matter is being pushed out into the intestines where it ferments, creating all types of harmful compounds. Most foods should be eaten separately or one after another. If you would like to learn how to do this, look up food combining charts. It's also important to observe the overall hydrogen balance of the foods that we eat, measured by pH value. You should concentrate on eating alkalizing foods rather than acidic ones, and these charts can also be found online. Food preparation should be minimized to blending, and you should avoid cooking and definitely microwaving, as they are rendering the foods indigestible and they create a lot of harmful chemicals in them. Most of your food should be eaten fresh, raw and organic to maximize the nutrient level. But even if you're not willing to introduce drastic changes into your diet, keeping balance and eating in moderation should also help you a lot. Even if you eat a diet which is a mixture of healthy and unhealthy foods, if you're doing it in moderation, it shouldn't have a harmful effect on your body. Also, learn to fast regularly. Give your body a break and the time necessary to heal, as your digestive processes are taking up 50% of your daily energy. Once you stop eating for 24 hours, you will allow for your digestive tract to heal and your whole body to regenerate. Do it on a regular basis, at least 2-3 times a month. There is much more to all of this, but it's difficult to put hundreds of pages and years of research into one short video, so I hope that I'll be able to finish my book soon and make it available to everyone. All I want you to remember for now is that you live in the age of information and there is no excuse for having unhealthy eating habits. All it takes is a little effort to logically dissect all the lies and misinformation fed to us by mainstream media and the government. You need to keep your consciousness vehicle in good condition. You need to make sure that you keep a clear mind so that you can keep higher vibrational frequency. You deserve it and your body deserves it. You need a strong immune system, as we are surrounded by a very unhealthy environment. You have the strength and the wisdom to stay healthy, and it should be at the top of your priority list to get rid in your life of that which is harmful. Remember to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, where I'll be talking more about nutrition. And please consider supporting me and this channel so that I can continue improving your quality of life. Thank you for watching. Remember to leave your email address at news.b434.com to be up to date with the latest 434 information. Subscribe, like and share this video. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Remember about b434.com and join 434 social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter and VK. Talk to each other on Discord, Telegram and Reddit. All links in the video description.